Okay, education. So we're going to have Claire with us today to talk about educational establishments accepting Bitcoin pays with Alan Farringdon. But we've got Stanley, so Robin can come out, and Alan, I'm Robin.
No, I think there's only one. So you're not like that. Oh well. Hello, everybody. My name is Alan. I am, I guess, investor, author, shitposter. But today, just humble interviewer because we're going to talk about doing things in the real world and not just software, which is very exciting. Now, you're obviously not Claire. You're not Claire. I'm Robin. Okay, not Claire. Simple. Yeah, Claire unfortunately had a family emergency. Did not to be here, but I think we actually have a very interesting stand into it. We're billing you as patient zero. That's how I'd introduce you. Can you explain what that means and then introduce yourself?
Hello everyone. So yeah, I think in medical trials you have a patient zero, and in this case, Claire refers to me as parent zero. So I'm a parent of a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. My kids go to Lomond School, where Claire is the headmistress. And yeah, I guess for those of you that perhaps know a little bit about the education sector, Lomond School is an independent school. It's a small school in Hillsborough. It was obviously 40 minutes down the water, yes, bird shipping time. And it's a small independent school that services Hillsborough and the wider community. And a few people would read Glasgow August there. So independent schools came on a massive challenge with Labour introducing VAT this year, and it's really disrupted their whole world, their sector. So within that disruption, I said, approached Claire carefully and said, I think there might be a way of perhaps navigating around some of government constraints that have been put on you. And I'm a Bitcoiner, and would you be interested in accepting your school fees in Bitcoin? And she said, well, tell me more. But if Claire was here and you heard from her, you will realise she is one of the most amazing critical thinkers and open-minded people that you want to meet. And I think it was the easiest orange thing I've ever done. And within 5 minutes, she said, well, it sounds like something that we can work with, and how the heck we get past the board and go with us. But let's see if there's something different, and that's a little thing about.
So that leads up to Bedford. Question of mine actually, I'm interested. How many people here saw a interview Claire in Bedford? Oh, cool. So there is at least a bit of context here. Do you want to explain? Again, I don't want to be too reading here, but what happened?
Yeah, so I guess I helped Claire educate and introduce Claire to Alan. So I was part. Earlier this year, I decided, I was going to, what I do next was going to do Bitcoin. I started going to Edinburgh with Robbie, and Robbie set up a group over there, and you'll hear from him later. I met up with Alan and a bunch of other people in the audience here, and thought, well, if we're going to do this at Lomond School, well, Alan's probably the premier Bitcoiner that I need to introduce Claire to, so you were super handy, stepped in and offered to coach her in Wayfest. She's a very fast learner, and she absorbed all that and put a presentation to the board of governors at school. Like any independent school is actually a charity that runs charities. And she said, look, I've got a pitch for something here that I think could differentiate us from the difference. I mean, already the school had differentiated itself by decoupling from the Scottish education system about 4 years ago. They're international baccalaureate school. They made that change 4 years ago, and that was largely driven as well by Claire, who feels that the education system itself is becoming very centralised, very government controlled, particularly in Scotland had a nationalist agenda that was taking kids down a certain pathway, which maybe didn't educate a full worldly view. So they did their research, went abroad, found international baccalaureate, said, right, we're going to cut our cloth and become the IB school for Scotland. And so that was one big change that they put through 4 years ago. And I said, well, I think in a lot of ways, Bitcoin and the IB work together. Claire talks a little bit about the grades being inflated. Fortunately, sadly, grades and education. I think that people have been printing A's, should we say, in the last decade or so, and
Ground printer go burr.
yeah. And she says the IB system, from the way she does it, is much more inflation proof. It's much more internationally recognized, it's internationally audited, and doesn't run under an agenda set by local government or national government. So there's a lot of sort of crossover between the Bitcoin space and the education space that Claire quickly recognised, and she presented that to the board of governors. And amazingly enough, they said, "Yeah, let's go for it." So that was all into this. This was literally December this year. That led into March, and then to Bedford in April, where she landed.
Yeah, so Bedford's her kind of coming out of the Bitcoin closet, her grand reveal. So I talking about what happened, like what was the aftermath, I feel like, what was the reception in the Bitcoin space, in the much wider space of people who got no idea what this means.
Yeah, I guess for Lomond, this was them nailing their colours to the mast, if you like, and it really differentiated them from every other Scottish independent school. So I think within the circles of head teachers and independent schools, Claire was like, a few texts saying, oh my God, how did you land that one type of thing. But she fairly quickly kind of got onto through connections with Alan, an amazing train of events. So next year's in Las Vegas. Went out to Vegas, met up with all the Bitcoin Policy UK people, with Susie, Freddie New, as interacted with them. A big part as well, Steve Fadino Moose heard about us through the event and then texted her and said, this is perfect timing. I was just about to start writing a book, a Bitcoin standard for teenagers. Would you be willing to work with me on this? So she said yes. I mean, when you meet Claire, she doesn't say no to many things. So within 3 weeks, she got on a plane to Jordan, and she spent 3 days safe, and she doesn't know. And I guess, and that's starting right there. So they've worked, they're staying, they've got the first 3 chapters written, and the plan is that this is a Bitcoin standard book, let's say, for younger adults, and Claire's working on converting that into a curriculum that will be taught at Lomond. Additionally, then from that on to Prague. So it's well in Jordan, Vegas, Prague, where she was one of the speakers at Prague. Just pre-Prague, she decided, having now understood and met the Bitcoin community, that there may be an opportunity for people to contribute, if you like. She recognized the philanthropic nature of Bitcoiners, and she decided to launch Satoshi scholarships, which she launched as well.
You tell us a bit more about that? It's I was on yes, the audience may help.
Yeah, so she launched. You say I didn't ask the big man himself, but I didn't know if I could use his name. But Satoshi scholarships, the idea is that Bitcoiners would help potentially pledge a scholarship to their school for a teacher, for students to take them through the final 2 years of the IB. And the idea is perhaps to take a student that either perhaps couldn't afford to go to an independent school, or bring them from a country that perhaps was repressed or had difficulties educating them. Obviously, these places, these scholarships would be funded by philanthropic Bitcoiners. So What has been amazing is there's already been a pledge for that, so that's happened. It's a significant amount of money for to send someone through an enormous pledge. So that's already underway. They also committed to starting a Bitcoin treasury, which has been quite amazing as well. There's already been 5 figures worth of fiat money put into a Bitcoin treasury. So the school now has a treasury to start their savings, if you like. Obviously, they have a lot of assets, but this could hopefully help lever in time more there. And phase 3 of all that is obviously they hope that more parents like myself will start paying fees of Bitcoin. What they want to be able to do is start to not have to convert that all into fiat. And some of the staff have
Yeah, I just realized I will directing piece of one of our portfolio buildings, so we should coordinate certain the mayor. Nonetheless, do you want to say in a bit, just kind of going through the sequence of these, a bit about running the Lomond School as well?
Yeah, so again, what's the learning that I've been doing over the last 6 months, and it's amazing. I think Bitcoin probably 2 years ago, even 5 years ago, you needed to be pretty techy to run a node to do these types of things. Again, through some of the donation money, we've now schools will start on. So there's a great company called Star9 based in the US that basically builds a package server that you can buy off the shelf. And if you can follow the instructions put together some IKEA furniture, you pretty much set up your own Star9 server at home. That's the way it's been designed to do. So again, I prototyped this myself, I tried it for myself, and took that into school. And school, as of last week, now runs on those as well. Now in a school environment, the bit arts, the node, the start line is much more about an educational tool. So one of the things that I'm certainly working with Claire and the physics department and the art department is to try and visualize that for the pupils. So it's not about just putting these things in there and saying we're contributing to the community. It's about the kids themselves engaging with it. So we're talking about starting a project, which is let's look at the manual space. I mean, effectively, what the node runs is it is a contributor to the manual. The manual is the way that it visualizes what nodes do. So we're looking at trying to make a creative display, whether that be in art, whether that be in science, that helps try and engage the kids into something which is quite techie, IT, and make that into a real life thing that they actually understand.
Start me on to know, right?
Sorry, that's a new
This won't mean anything to most of you, but to the handful it does. I'm just teeing up a good argument at the break. And mindful of time, I know you mentioned this early days with Claire collaborating with SAFE. Very exciting. So we'll keep an eye out for progress there. Is there anything else worth commenting on in terms of the curriculum? I mean, the year has started now, right? We're in term.
Yeah, I mean, if Claire be here, she's absolutely gutted not to be here. She will be at the next Bitcoin conference and hopefully be to someone in Glasgow and beat us to the pub. But I know that her leadership style is very much one of she says children are not vessels to be filled, they're fires to be ignited. Which I really like, and she said she's very much the same leadership style as staff. So she's like, I'm not going to sit and preach and thrust Bitcoin down staff's throat. It's apparent from our website and everything that I've been doing that we are embracing the Bitcoin school, but it's now up to them to go and come with me and find your own journey. Bitcoin is a journey, it's a learning journey for everybody. So the nature of the way she leads is lead by example, critical thinking, and with the curriculum, I think the plan is that she's going to post that. What we hope to do is in Hillsborough is start to bring up some of the well-known people in the space. So you might have seen Joe and Ryan's talk. What's the problem? Next YouTube video. If any of you haven't seen it, please write it down. You'll watch it. So Joe is on to come up Hillsborough, and we're hoping to do more of a town hall type meet with the whole community on that one. So that's one activity, and then with the classroom, it's not obviously just about educating kids. So events like that will hopefully bring the parents into phase 2, and beyond that is trying to get some of the local businesses with hopefully a bit of bonus starting to congregate in the housing community, then working on local merchants, local coffee shops, estate agents, and the local gym, for example, stuff, etc. So you build an ecosystem around that space.
Very good. Yeah, we just got 1 or 2 minutes left. So, what I want to end on, I do feel a little bit bad kind of treating you as a proxy for Claire. Something that you could answer entirely on your own as parent zero. I guess, maybe I'll mention Claire one last time. What she would have wanted to get out of this, I think, the best possible case is that there are people in the audience who are swayed on this, who are, maybe didn't know about Lomond or didn't know as much about Lomond and consider it as a potential parent of people there. You are one. What do you have to say to that?
Obviously, I said that's cool. It's great. Come and be Caroline. Don't trust, verify, as they say. They've got an open day on the 9th of November. So, but they're always open to parents or people to come along and have a look. It is a small school, super. My daughter's class got 80 people in it. They're non-selective, so they're non-denominational. So it's not an easy scenario. It's a school that, as she says, if I can do a job for a child, I will do it. So they have some really interesting children there from. They've got boarding houses as well. So there's about 50 or 60 kids bringing in international level from Hong Kong, from the States, from Dubai. So the kids are mixing with other kids from around the world. But it's, I think, as a parent, it feels like a family environment to bring your children up. It's all the teachers from primary one, all the kids throughout the entire school. And the way I like what I like about it is they also want to expose kids to what I would describe as healthy natural risk. So Hillsborough and New Bean, it's got hills at the back, it's got the Clyde and the Loch Lomond on the doorstep. So sailing and watersports, kayaking, and these are a big part of the community, mountain biking, practice, mountaineering, all these type of things. So those type of things are absolutely embedded. In the junior school, they have forest schools where the little nursery kids go out and do a lot of learning outdoors, not inside. So they try to do things differently. Well, they do things differently. I think compared to this the sort of standard sector. So that's the thing. What they were saying, what I experienced behind it. Yeah, they're not.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Roland.